What's up everybody, Alex here, and welcome to the Dota Underlords Best Builds of the Week, the weekly series where I show you guys top 5 meta builds to help you rank up in Dota Underlords. Now this week I'm starting with the Demon build, focused around the 3-star Warlock. Now you're looking at this, you're saying, hey Alex, why don't you have all demons in there? You got 3-star Warlock. Well, that's because you need to have a legitimate plan. If you're banking on RNG to give you a 3-star Warlock every game, then you're going to have a really bad time. When it lands, it's a ton of fun. But there's a good chance you only ever 2-star Warlock, and that is a problem. So you have to go into a game, especially a ranked game, with an actual legitimate plan, and you can transition into a full demon build once you get the 3-star Warlocks. And the best way to do that is to run Heartless and Warlocks. Now, if you're not actually getting to 3 stars here, let's assume that Warlocks in is at 2 stars. You're taking the Chaos Knight out. You're going to put Terrorblade here, and you're going to put someone like the Witch Doctor in. That'll give you the healing, the brutes. That'll give you good synergy. This will help you slide into like 3rd, 4th, maybe 2nd. Could even win if you get some good RNG. What you really want, though, is you want that Warlock. And when you get that Warlock, all bets are off. You can put in as many demons as you want. And to clarify here, basically what happens is Warlock now has a 3-star synergy that once you get Warlock to 3 stars, demons no longer silence each other. That's huge. Not just because, hey, they can all cast at the same time, but they can all get the damage bonus at roughly the same time. Because before, it's like, okay, one casted, they get 200% bonus damage. Now they gotta wait 4 seconds for the next person to cast and get their bonus damage. So only one at a time was ever really having the bonus damage. Now, they all get bonus damage, almost at the same time. It's a huge burst of DPS as soon as all your skills are cast. And as it is, the unit abilities have a very legitimate impact on the battlefield. Like when Queen of Pain does her cast, or Scream of Pain, that's a lot of damage as it is. Like, forget about all the bonuses she's now getting from the Demon Alliance. This is going to get nerfed for sure. But in the meantime, go in with a plan, build towards Heartless and Warlocks, and then if you get to 3 stars, then you throw your... Honestly, you can throw every demon on there. You can have 2 versions of Queen of Pain on there, multiple Dooms, it doesn't matter. Every single demon just adds to the fire at that point. But until then, you want to maintain some sort of legitimate strategy. While he's at 2 stars, you're not running CK. You're going to make sure you have Witch Doctor in. You're running a synergy like this. You might end up finishing a lot of games like this, honestly. I do like running Lifestealer because he helps to counter a lot of the Brawnies because of his percentage-based healing. But at the end of the day, a super fun build if it gets pulled off, but make sure you have a backup plan. And for the second build of the week, we've got Druids, Summoners, and Savages. I absolutely love this build, and this build has been so incredibly consistent for me. It is such a fun build to do. Druids with the new RNG in the shop really help to kind of smooth out your RNG, really help to solidify your early and your mid game. Really great units. And the other thing about this build, you take advantage of 3 units that have been recently buffed with 3-star synergies. Now, it's a little inconsistent because it doesn't actually show the star like the Warlock does, but basically, so at 3 stars, Shadow Shaman is going to hex someone into a chicken as well as spawn his wards. At 3 stars, Nature's Prophet is going to spawn treants along the rear line, and at 3 stars, Venomancer's wards are going to have a very fast cooldown, and they're going to have 99% magic resistance. And you know, I thought about this build, and in prior iterations of this, I actually ran Sven here, and Sven would, whoop, not like that. I used to run Sven and give you the human bonus, but you know what, an actual, like, legitimate, you know, I've been testing this a lot, and I find that Sven isn't as effective as a Tidehunter. I'd rather give up that 4 mana, go into this game knowing I'm pulling things like the Void Shard, the Void Stone Story, and the, the Scythe of the Vise. I want to make sure I grab those items. You don't need the human regen, especially just 4 mana per second. It adds up, but what Tidehunter gives you is so much better. The Ravage, the Frontline, he's so tanky with his health and armor, and he's going to be getting healed by Tree and Protector's Leech Seed. So, honestly, a fantastic build. The only thing you're going to struggle with is, do I put Refresh Orb on Tide, or do I put it on Lone Druid? You're generally going to put it on Lone Druid, because he's going to step up, and you're going to have 2 bears coming off on the edge here. And then if you get a second one, you give it to Tidehunter. Tidehunter is also a great unit for, you know, something like, you know, it doesn't matter. Tidehunter's so damn good. Blade, Blade Mail, anything like that. But overall, this has been an absolutely fantastic build. I absolutely love it. And again, it's always fun taking advantage of a few 3-star units. And you know what? Nature's Prophet, it's pretty easy to get him 3 stars. Why? Because of the Druid synergy. So a very good unit to get with a Void Stone, and a very good unit to help push you into a win in the late game. And for the third build of the week, we've got Knights and Healers, and I absolutely love Knights and Healers. They have been an absolute staple build since beta, and now we're in a situation where they have been buffed by Chaos Knight. If you're able to get Chaos Knight to 3 stars, he has a new synergy where basically Knights no longer have to be beside each other in order to get the full benefit of the Knight bonus, and that's wonderful. Because if you're against like Spirits, you can you can split corner comp, you can move them however you wish, and it does not have to be, you don't have to keep them bunched up, which is one of their primary issues, that you got to keep them bunched up. So if they end up moving into the center as a big unit and they have to end up getting Delta slammed, it's game over, right? Now, realistically, Knights tend to be a little more resilient to Spirits because of the fact that they're generally corner comp. You can push them up too, it doesn't matter. They're very resilient, and Chaos Knight getting that 3-star bonus is great. He is going to be contested because a lot of people want him for that demon factor as well. Bear that in mind. Now, another low-key buff, well, not low-key, it's legit, is the Bat Rider at 3 stars now applies a fire effect, a burning effect, to the units he applies the sticky napalm to. It's a percentage-based damage, and that's very relevant because if you're against Brawnies, Bat Rider's now a counter to Brawnies because of the percentage-based damage, for the same reason like Lifestealer or Cadence Bleed is very effective to very high HP units. Now, Bat Rider does the same thing, and the nice thing about Bat Rider, no one's picking up Bat Rider unless they're going Knights. So it is very, very, it's a legitimate shot that you can get him to 3 stars. Chaos Knight's going to be a little harder, but Bat Rider, as long as you don't out-level the roll opportunity, you got to roll for him at like, round like, level 4 or 5. Once you get to 6, it becomes harder, right? So it's a little trickier with Bat Rider, but he's a legit anti-Brawny now. But overall, right, again, as always, you're looking for like a Mask of Madness or a Moonshard on Luna. You got the healers in there. I like Healing and Stealing Eno in this build. Healing support in Essex works too. Joel got, support, Healing Joel got nerfed. He's still good. But he tends to split up the board a little bit. He can make things a little awkward. You'd put Joel right there. And then so you can have your knights split up so that they're supporting each other still. I'm not actually using Joel there, but you understand. But anyways, Joel's a good pick too, but he did have his happy hour reduced, his cooldown changed from 8 to 10, so it does shoot a little later. If you're in a good position, you have like lots of strong healing and good 2 and 3 star units, then they're gonna survive long enough to take advantage of that. But I'm kind of in the healing and stealing Eno. That's just me though. It's totally personal preference for you guys. Let's move on to build number 4. Build number 4 is Spirits. You guys knew I was going to talk about Spirits because Spirits are still one of the best builds in the current meta. They are fantastic. They've not been getting any love from the 3 stars there, which is pretty interesting because they don't really need to be 3 stars. In fact, if you really want to get greedy with Spirits, you can even have 1-star Storm Spirits. You don't want a 3-star Storm Spirit. You don't, because you just want him casting Ball Lightning over and over and over again and Delta slamming everyone like crazy. I like this positioning here because generally they're going to approach like this. It gives Tidehunter an opportunity to Ravage, and then these guys will help finish the job. I like having Earth Spirit on the edge here so we can Geomagnetic Grip across the board, much like you'd have someone like Beastmaster throw his Wild Axes across the board. Geomagnetic Grip, a good good positioning on the edge here so we can cast across. But overall, a fantastic build. One thing that I would suggest, though, always when doing this build, always have Voids in your back pocket. If you run across Enigma, 2-star him. Just 2-star him and hold him onto the bench. Why? Because if you're against Brawnies, they are very hard because your Delta Slam does a lot of damage, but you're not going to blow up those Brawnies. You need Voids. So what you're going to do, you already have the Void Spirit. You're running him no matter what. You want the Enigma in your back pocket here because what you can do is add Enigma, and then what's going to happen is he's going to take percentage-based damage off of, Midnight Pulse is going to do a ton of work on the Brawnies. And then what you do is you pull like a TA or a Faceless Void, and suddenly you have the Void bonus, and all you had to do was add 1 unit because realistically, Enigma is a unit worth running in this build anyways. But if you're not against Brawnies, then you can go full greed on the Spirits. It's a-okay. Even just having 3 Storm Spirits is totally fine. Blink Dagger on Ember Spirit is probably going to help him survive, and he's going to jump, he's going to cast a Slate of Fist, and you're going to Delta Slam. Otherwise, you're looking for stuff like, Battle Furies on him as well. Actually, low-key, Ember Spirit is fantastic with a Circlet of Restool in the Demon build because Slate of Fist is going to apply like his auto attack, which is going to have the 50% bonus damage. That's like super greedy though, so I didn't include it there, but I thought I'd mention it. It's pretty fun. But overall, guys, this is still one of my go-to builds in this current meta. If you're ranking up, this is so damn consistent. It is so consistent, and if you can handle the occasional bad Delta Slam, it is such a wonderful build. Let's move on to the last build of this week. Now, in so many of the builds earlier, I mentioned, in case you're against Brawnies, do this, do that. The reason for that is because Brawnies are damn good. They are fantastic. And if you're given amazing Brawny RNG early and you're not seeing much contention, just roll with it. It's borderline an easy win. I'm shocked. I'm shocked at how often I see people, even in like, legit high, big boss ranks, people not going voids when they see someone steamrolling as a Brawny. If you're third place and you see the first place guy is Brawnies and he's smashing everybody, build voids. Add voids to any lineup. Do it. But people don't. I don't know why. And so anyways, Brawnies are just borderline one of the best builds in the game right now. A few major notes though. I do like running the Dragon variant in this because Snapfire is a pretty good carry in the early game. Her Mortimer's Kiss is going to do lots of work. I also do like running a little bit of Warlock in here because I do like the stun. I'm running Disruptor. You need Disruptor. He's so damn good, especially against the summoners and the mages and stuff like that. Spirits, for instance, right? Can make all the difference for you. And that stun, Witch Doctor stun, can make a big difference as well. If you want to go DK, you can go DK. I've actually been having Viper up front because his corrosive skin is a little bit of bait. He tends to slow down, obviously, slow down the attack speed of anyone who attacks him with the Dragon bonus. That's wonderful. I do like having Bristleback more centered than usual because obviously he has a 2-cell range for his Quill Spray. But overall, this is the build I've been going with. One thing I do mention is try and 3-star Ogre Magi. He's one of the units that has been buffed. He gets a 75% chance to multicast Bloodlust at 3 stars, so he has 75% chance to cast it on 2 units when he casts it. That's truly phenomenal, and especially with Brawnies, you're looking at very extended fights because they have so much health, the fights last longer. That's why we go support damage dealing Hobbing, because Let's Go Crazy does a ton of work in Brawny builds because the fights last so long. For the same reason, you're going to Bloodlust borderline everyone in the fight. Everyone's going to be Bloodlusted, and the opposing team, if they can't burn you down immediately with like Voids and Assassins, they're just going to lose by attrition. This is a fantastic build. Beastmaster on the edge so he can Wild Axes across the board. But overall, guys, a fantastic build. One of the best in the current meta, especially if you get steamrolling. Thank you guys so much for watching, and a very special thank you to all of my wonderful subscribers. Take care, everyone, and I hope that these builds help you find success in Dota Underlords.